Yeah, here we are, yes. And what we're doing today is having a look through the multiple satellites on New Year's Day. Not sure how interesting the programme will be, but it'll be interesting to see what's going on. We've got the satellites across Europe here, and now we're on Hotbird, um, which is a channel that does French and German at the same time, interestingly. You can actually switch the audio tracks on that. So, to have a look what all the channels are doing on New Year's Day, looks like the programming is reasonably special, because that looks like Lawrence of Arabia. Yeah, exactly, Lawrence d'Arabie. So, just like our channels, which I'll have a look at as well, there are special programs, films and things like that on. Last night on New Year's Eve, there was nothing but concerts on the German channel Dreisat. So on Hotbird, which is 13 East, you have the biggest collection of different nations and languages, I think, of any satellite. So just like the BBC News channel here, this is Ray News 24. The ferry disaster was covered. These channels are the main channels of Italy, I would say, like BBC One, etc. But they do carry adverts. Ray Un, Do and Tre. Just see what's on these, just at this random slot on New Year's Day afternoon. Classical Disney, that's or something like that. There.
In questa terra semiarida, grandi erbivori e carnivori si
mescolano. You also get more free-to-air stuff from them because you get a sports channel, a kids channel, a documentary channel. Together in Britain, a lot of that stuff is pay TV only. TRT Turkey, the international version. You can get a domestic version of TRT if you turn the dish to Turks. Of course, a lot of places around the world don't have today as New Year's Day anyway. A good example might be Kazakhstan and some of the former USSR nations. Forget exactly when it is, but even Christmas is the 6th of Jan, so we're going to have to check the channels on 6th of Jan to see what might be interesting at the time. Kurdistan, an unrecognised nation with two channels or more on Hotbird. There's the flag, which is used on a lot of channels as an on-screen logo. Looks a bit worrying because you know what's going on there at the moment. They're directly against ISIS. So you see a lot of programming devoted to that on Kurdistan TV in this one. Kurdistan's territory is parts of northern Iraq and I'm not entirely sure if it covers parts of Syria, but you know that ISIS has aggressively taken over those areas directly where the Kurds are. This is usually a very simple channel for Africa. I don't think interesting that this might be for New Year's Day, this programming, because it looks like an animation that I could recognise. It's quite interesting what you get when you flick through the channel. Very low resolution on the channel though. That's a channel from Algeria. Yeah, and that looks like it's special as well. Just drop down to Tunisia 1 on 516. I can't remember. Oh, that's a way I've done that. There actually are thousands of channels.
Without rhythm, your heart will not beat. Without direction, without mood.
Azerbaijan. That's interesting. Yeah. Is that the flag? This channel is one of the set of Chinese channels from the government. It's called China Central TV. At the moment, you need another satellite other than the one that we watch in the UK, typically Astra 2. You see a CCTV 4, and sometimes you even get English subtitles. Looks interesting, but there's no subtitles for this. Of course, the Chinese New Year isn't today either, so it should just be normal programming. This is maybe aimed at Americans abroad, possibly. I'm not entirely sure if it's aimed at military people abroad, but it's.
But we can't start changing our patterns of
But
behavior.
there are various
more
Voice
than,
of America channels on
we
Hotbird.
stop going to a football game because there might be the possibility of a terrorist attack. Any more than Boston didn't run its marathon this year because of the possibility that somebody might.
Obama speaking about how he shouldn't give in to terrorism. Of course, he was the one that probably encouraged the release of the interview again the most. It's an interesting local programming there.
On a late October
At the
morning,
bottom of this
the
channel
Long
list
Beach
here,
Community Garden in Columbia, volunteers are observing a
get
seasonal ritual.
What we do twice a year is have a cleanup day.
Site manager Cleve
BBC
Chick.
World
The
News.
fall cleanup for a lot.
Oh yes. Let's have a quick look at the. As there are loads of Islamic channels as well, which I don't expect to be different. One is called Saudi Quran, which might be for the Shiites, and this one's the Sunni religion branch of Islam. There's just so much. It's always interesting. This channel has music, I think, from the most eastern part of the Mediterranean.
Oh, and by the way, do you know what's happening tomorrow?
This is always interesting, and I think it's Iranian in origin, this channel. It has the films that are carried on another branch of this channel with an English language dub over it, so it's the opposite way around.
Just hope that the sky is clear on that day.
So a lot of channels that have German dubs, etc., on English language Hollywood, sometimes even UK stuff. So you get some interesting films on that, sometimes, with subtitles and dubs. At the bottom of the list you'll find BBC World News, which is carried on a lot of satellites, but not our own Astra 2.
See their golden goose in danger of being slaughtered.
It's definitely not.
This is a Russian one. I'm trying to remember where all the most heavily Islamic channels are, and channels that are aimed at countries in the Arabian Peninsula in general. It's hard to remember channel numbers because they're not official channel numbers, and they just are just what order the channels were scanned in off the satellite. A lot of Euro dance on this one, as well as some hits that we're familiar with as well. This is the satellite with a lot of Italian channels. That's interesting because it's Ukraine. A lot of Ukrainian channels use the Ukraine flag as a logo, and this one's doing that. It's like an interesting drama, but you wouldn't understand it. Neighbours Belarus have a channel. This is an interesting one as well, before I find the Islamic ones. A TV version of an Italian radio station, where it's really intricately programmed, playing the music videos for the songs that they play, and then showing the studio. Well, we don't have a single channel like that. It must be quite difficult to set up. This one is a South Korean channel in English. Showing a screenshot of Facebook there. Arirang. Dubai, yes, so this is where it might start from, some of these. That last time didn't work, it does now. Dubai Sport. Quite a lot of free-to-air sports from the Middle East. Al-Baghdadiya. So that's Iraq. You also get Al-Iraqi.
وبلغ فائض الميزان التجاري مستوى قياسيا ليسجل 50 مليار دولار.
سلمت السلطة الفلسطينية اليوم الخميس منسق الشؤون
This is actually on Astra 2
المتحدة جيمس راولي
on Sky Channel 855 or something like that.
الدولية للانضمام إليها والتي وقعها بالأمس الرئيس الفلسطيني محمود
Arabic, Turkish, TRT.
Mevlevi padişahlar arasında Sultan Reşat son dönemde artık
This is an interesting one because it is often, and it doesn't seem to be now, in English. So you get some interesting programs. Saudi Channel 2. That one's obviously gone off because you need to rescan the satellite. This is only on Hotbird and is interesting. Although you seem to get Russia Today in many places now. For some reason this seems to be the only satellite with Russia Today's documentary channel, and it can be pretty interesting. It's also in HD as well on another channel.
With his children, he gathers garbage until 9 or 10 in the morning. Then he returns home with all of it. His children and wife help him to separate out all the material.
That's an Egyptian flag, and there was once an unreported world documentary about people who collect garbage for a living, or just in Cairo. The population's 18 million and it's very hard to get by. So it looks like they're covering the same story.
Took part in municipal elections, but failed to become a deputy.
Yeah.
What he regrets.
It's interesting what's on Yemen's channel. Once I saw a Rush Hour film.
Adapted The Nightingale from his 2002 film about the bond-building journey between an old man and a young girl.
Oh, I just can't get off this satellite. There's so much on it. 24-hour Russian news in Russian. Sounds kind of like the BBC News one, doesn't it? Find them. Yeah. That's a Swiss channel. One of the only ones you can get, because most of the SRF channels, which is the main broadcaster in Switzerland, are encrypted. So this is like a news and documentaries one. Iranian 24-hour news in Farsi, because that's the language spoken in Iran. IRIB is the main Iranian broadcaster, so we've got IRIB Karam, but interestingly we get IRIB 1 and 2 on the satellite too. I can only assume this is a main channel in Iran because of IRIB. iFilm is the films that are now actually in Farsi. Mostly anyway. I'm not sure what Nassim means. Probably kids. Probably a children's channel.
به سختی 95 بر 93 نیورلینز رو برد. در این مسابقه مانو جنابالی از
Looks like sports. And this is strange. I think this is Iranian as well. This channel was banned off the UK satellite by Ofcom in a way, or at least because they were found in breach by the UK Ofcom and were taken off the Sky platform, but you can still watch it here. The Iranian-based Press TV news channel, all in English, aimed at places, the world outside Iran. The weather's really bad out there, but it's still working. Possibly if we could start to try and do some of the more distant satellites, it wouldn't be good. Wind and rain. I want to try and move the satellite now. Probably today, not look at all the other ones, but just look at Astra 1 and Hotbird. Yeah, if you're into tennis, that channel's free to air.
Highline zu haben. Außer Kontrolle geriet die Situation offenbar durch einen vermeintlichen Geldregen. Aus einem Nachtclub wurden Spielgeldscheine geworfen, die Dollarnoten ähneln.
So this is the one with the most
Sie haben stundenlang gewartet,
German channels on it.
Dutzende Angehörige
That's what mostly is on Astra 1.
Von den Verletzten der Massenpanik lange vergeblich. Wir warten jetzt schon seit 6 Stunden und haben immer noch keine Informationen. Keiner redet mit uns. Die meisten Verletzten werden in das erste Volkshospital von Shanghai gebracht. Viele von ihnen sind nur knapp dem Tod entkommen.
The local channel for Berlin.
Einen vernünftigen Prozessor, aber die Robustheit von dem Gerät ist ein Knüller.
German shopping, yeah. So now we can see that there is a lot of interestingly free-to-air versions of some of the US pay channels that we always get.
Shitstorm. Laut Duden ein Sturm der Entrüstung in einem Kommunikationsmedium des Internets.
Shitstorm. Comedy Central with Australian, Austrian version of Nickelodeon. And Comedy Central the same. Interestingly, at night, this turns into Nick Night, and the shows are available in English. It looks just the same old stuff for New Year's Day. RTL is a huge European broadcaster. It used to own Channel 5. And it has some interesting things on. Like, I saw on here the Deutsch version of Britain's Got Talent. We do see a huge amount of American series. Super RTL used to show a lot of Disney and other cartoons. RTL Nitro seems to show classic shows, all dubbed of course. Seen Home Improvement on here. Yeah, that's the Mexican theme, isn't it? Something like What Women Want or something. I think that's what it is. What Women, was Frauen wollen. Remember that did have Mel Gibson in it. So yeah, they're showing special films and stuff. So now we know what the German is for that. Aber 40 Jahre, 40 years, Waterloo. Again, some things are just obvious what they mean. I'm no huge expert in German, but I'd like to learn more. Then I could enjoy these channels. We know more French at the moment.
Übrigens hat unser Mond einen massiven Eisenkern, der zerschmettert wurde, wie mein Vater gesagt hat.
The only free-to-air version of Eurosport is on Astra 1 now. Everywhere else it's now a pay channel. So you get Deutsch commentary, but free-to-air coverage of a lot of events at the show like Tour de France and things like that. So it's still useful. There's a lot of regional channels in Germany as well. Seems to be a lot more than what's left of our ITV network.
Ich bin in Mannheim in der Neckarstadt groß geworden und dann gab es eine Stelle, ich weiß nicht mehr, ob es überhaupt
these all cover different parts of the country. A lot of them are in HD as well, so they're pretty well catered for. Yeah, that's a Deutsch feed of the TLC. It's supposed to stand for the Learning Channel, but actually it's just a load of magazine-y reality-type programs. Interesting that a lot of these channels are free-to-air in Germany, but aren't in other countries. Like they used to be in the 90s when we shared the satellite with Sky Analog. You could watch a lot of these channels that are still here today. They're still full of the same American dub programming. Yep, the Deutsch version of the Disney Channel is free to air, but isn't in other countries, as I've scanned. And you can get QVC. One of the main channels for imports is ProSieben, and that seems to show a lot of series like The Simpsons, The Simpsons, Big Bang Theory, Malcolm in the Middle, Mitten. Now they're showing a movie, date movie. You know, so that's their different programming for New Year's Day.
Reisewebsites auf einmal, das beste Angebot zu finden.
Table lines. I've seen Star Trek on here. You get the picture of just how many ones there are. ProSieben Max. That seems to show a lot of archive series. Ones aimed more at kids. So that's it. 3 Willies on, but we're unlucky enough to hit an advert. Just like most of the time when you try to view Sky, you think, ooh, that looks interesting, and it's an advert for the next 5 minutes.
Outed for what he'd done.
Sky News has a feed on Astra 1, an international feed, and one thing that's interesting about this is that
and the resources and people
when Sky News UK goes to adverts, this usually shows something else, no adverts.
3 television journalists jailed in Egypt for more than a year have been granted a retrial. The 3 men who work for Al Jazeera's English language channel were imprisoned after a court convicted them of spreading false news. The judgment prompted an international.
The Germans aren't prudish at all, as you can see by the amount of adult channels here. 6 Österreich, we've been there. This is quite an interesting one. Deutschland and Österreich feed. Österreich is Austria in Germany, means Eastern Kingdom. And this channel apparently started out as a pirate broadcaster. And then protests made protests of some sort to stay on air, and they were allowed to stay on air. But it started out in Austria as a pirate station. You do sometimes see some interesting documentary type content on here. You see that, in a way, Germany and Austria and France are very cultured in terms of the media in ways that some ways the UK isn't. A lot more interesting channels. It's a shame that we can't understand them. This is another radio station. Orff is the main broadcaster of Austria, but the main channel is encrypted. You need a special card. But Orff 2, the second one, is sometimes free to air like it is now, showing sometimes quite interesting documentary type programs like this. And it's sometimes encrypted as well, so you can't see it. That looks interesting. There's definitely India that looks like that, isn't it? Very colourful. Folks TV is sometimes interesting. Luckily it's not showing teleshopping like it sometimes shows. It's just this type of music most of the time, at least. Sometimes shown in a nice country scene. They're not available, but CNN is.
On who they believe has made the...
This television 5 Monde French channel is part of the Sky package in the UK and free to air on Astra 1. So all you need is the dish. 23 days till the premiere, it said. The France, Belgium and Switzerland variants of the channel rather than international. Viva is now Comedy Central, so that needs updating. Shows like Family Guy and American Dad in the middle of the day, which doesn't happen in the UK, because they're the most adult ones, aren't they? SpongeBob Schwankopf. All normal programming for these channels, really. That's interesting, we're getting weather in the middle of the film. Es ist kalt. Es ist kalt. Sehr kalt. Very cold. Interesting that the Swiss version has that, but we're in the movie on the Austrian feed of ProSieben here.
Und verhindert so, dass die aggressive Magensäure in die Speiseröhren aufsteigt. Schon viel besser.
Sat.1, that's quite good as well. Try the Swiss feed. What's on it? Looks like a Penguin movie is on next. It's definitely New Year's Day type programming, this. Of course, RTV4 had Lawrence of Arabia on, so it should be the same on this. Oh, it's changed from that now. It still says it there. So there's just so much, and that's just 2 satellites. I don't know if I dare move the dish, as it is rainy as heck outside. Most satellites still work, because it is a big dish, but especially as I want to check this channel out, the main channel of France, so I'm risking it. Moving now to 9 East to this Hotbird 9. because you get the main channel of France in HD. Television France's which is showing, Zorro, that Mask of Zorro. So yeah, just like ours. In fact, yeah, I want to check ours, so I've got even more to show. M6. And there's another channel with even more French channels on it. You have to go to another satellite. So having it motorised is very useful because the other main channels of France are on Atlantic Bird. Yeah, it looks like another American film that's being shown, dubbed into French. Right, so I'll have a look at our channels. What's going on New Year's Day? BBC One's a good place to start. And what I can do now is I'm going to the skybox that I've got and removing the card. And why would I do that? Because there's a really cool function on this box that you can insert a Sky card amazingly. So if you get the Skybox F5S, which this is, it's not the most advanced box there is you could use for satellite TV, but it has that very cool function. It's all films on ours. Mary Poppins, the Final Ever Miranda's on. Two American films on two of our channels. In HD. ITV show Bond a lot at the moment, and it is on today. So actually, that's interesting. On four of our main channels, it's films, and all in HD as well. Channel 5 HD won't even be shown by this box, annoyingly, because it's pay and blocked, but it's showing Ben-Hur. But you can get the regular Channel 5 further down the list. But it does have a cool function, although it doesn't open the HD channels. Putting your Sky card in will actually open most of the pay channels on the Sky package.
Up to £7,000 over
and why would you want to do that? Why would you want to put it into this box rather than use your normal Sky box? Well, you can put a USB hard drive in and record the shows directly to that. And if you've ever tried to get off your recordings from a Sky Plus box, you can see why that would be an advantage.
Millions of travellers, reviews and opinions, as well as great hotel prices. To plan, compare and book.
Most channels work, but they seem to have locked out the HD channels. I subscribe to them at the moment, and you can't get them through this box and record them, annoyingly. Watch have a lot of movies on. There should be normal programming on some of these channels. No, annoyingly, because it's near 1:15, it's adverts on most of the channels. When you consider you pay for this, and Netflix doesn't have adverts, and it's only £6 a month. That's a bit crazy. Well, that's porridge, isn't it? Gold show a lot of movies as well, and Only Fools and Horses most of the time.
Condoms were still sealed. Believe it or not, those are worth about another 150. Add that to the fireworks.
Dave is starting to show all those annoying auction type ones that are plaguing the documentary channels. Usually the History Channel doesn't show anything remotely resembling history anymore. Bloody. Fox usually shows something about Law and Order. Not just the show Law and Order.
If I can't bear to look at myself in the mirror, then how could other people?
All this is prosthetic.
Flights. Travel supermarket. Helping you get away for less.
Joint.
What would your brain conclude?
And this will be CBBC in the day, I think.
I haven't been into that since like November. She doesn't want to hang out with her parents.
Everyone to the sea ice.
Oh, thank you, Captain. You know the sea ice
Yeah,
is our
that's what happens to BBC 3 and 4 during the day.
What about you, Captain? Well,
CBBC and CBBC. It's Bond. Thunderball, which we use that as the basis for that Never Say Never Again movie that was a rival to the main Bond series in 1983. Thanks to a split. Can't get ITV2 HD,
Just
annoyingly.
tell us how much you want to transfer and instantly
It's
see how
annoying is
much
they've made
you
it
could
nice
save.
and convenient
It's easy.
because you would obviously
Compare
choose the
now
HD one
at
and not put the
money.co.uk.
SD variants on the list, so I can't see them. I can just see the plus ones.
Telling me how to run my life. Well, if Saffron's going to move down here, she'll need somewhere decent to live. I can afford it. It couldn't be that I like it where I am. Nobody likes it there.
I mean, I'm not
Yeah. This is ITV's only pay channel, apart from the HD variants of the other channels. Basically, an ITV drama channel.
I see to that.
The proposition's a bit weak.
Every horse comes
Not
with its
bored, it all
personality,
showed horse
just like
racing.
humans, and once you establish...
So now we can see Channel 5, and just to confirm that at this time, apart from the shiteverts, all the main channels are showing films at the same time, New Year's Day. This is a break within Ben-Hur, I think. It's annoying that the EPG doesn't work a lot of the time, which I can't be sure why on this box. That's got to be a film. It looks like what they might do for an advert, slightly, doesn't
So,
it?
I hear you got a new tenant at the caravan park.
Yeah, Black. Bring her out without any violence. You're not going in there, McKay.
It's a Western, I can't tell which one it is.
Telling you for the...
Mole Cop. If you want to watch Hollywood movies, it seems to me that subscribing to Sky Movies at a cost of what? It's over 40 a month, especially with HD. Seems a bit crazy when if you just wait a year in most cases, you start filling the channels that are free.
This is the way she gets when she's drunk.
This is the best that they can put on these free-to-air CBS channels in New Year's Day. Judge Judy.
On my table for 2 weeks, okay? His son can eat a whole chicken.
Right now, I know she's... It's just being done.
Yesterday he still had his knee reflex and pupil reflex, which would, you know, make...
It can be good sometimes. Especially if you like seeing cops arrest people to do with driving.
And now it looks like their relationship has finally turned a corner. Patricia's wary, but she is letting Hananya get close to her. This is a very big step in the right
I don't
direction.
know where all the channels are on this again.
My chance to become a movie star. By the sting of my proton whip, I will bring you.
Go with something else, like, I don't know, janitor? It might work. So what, are you like a rapper or something?
The water courses through an icy delta like blood along the arteries.
Yesterday is often a bit like it's free to air on Freeview, but not satellite. It's a bit like Eden, the documentary channel, but also shows sitcoms and entertainment programs sometimes. It used to be UK history. There's often a bit of a mishmash now. There's an Attenborough series for New Year's Day.
He starts moving just a little too fast.
Christopher was enamored with her so much that he...
Yeah, these 24-hour murder channels now.
At about 1:03 a.m. on Monday, the 8th.
It's called crime.
He heard
The
some
main crime you
screaming
see on there is murder,
Rosemary from the house,
rather than
and also
say
heard
robberies,
Andrew yelling.
frauds,
As best we can
pirate
determine,
TV.
that is when the attack.
History. The only thing that's history about this channel is the programs that used to be about history that have gone.
Right there. Yeah, that's cut first off.
This is the series Africa.
Her feet, that could give her such a good grip on twigs, should
Oh,
surely
yes.
be useless on soft sand. But she's
We've got
able
this
to
on
spread
DVD,
them
luckily.
like snowshoes. She needs
Discovery history. And this actually is about history a lot of the time, which is great. It's a shame that the main Discovery
it's all in the shape.
is almost as bad as the History Channel now. But the Refuge is Discovery, History and Science if you actually want to watch documentaries on the documentary channels.
Bruce McCandless was a NASA
Especially as they cost more than the standard package. But luckily those channels open on here, and if there's anything interesting you could record it.
The preparation for a spacewalk takes it pretty good.
And one of the best ones left is National Geographic.
Yeah, guys, what's
It's still quite good. There's a lot of sensational programs.
So you definitely want to switch that knob up on the back end and try and get one of those hard balls in there. Definitely tighten it up a lot better. You need more tension on the back end.
So it's a very disjointed video, this, but it's to show you what is on New Year's Day across all sorts of channels, including the ones here. And they're all dotted about in different places, so it's quite difficult to find, say, E4 and ITV2 where on earth had been put on this box. This remote's getting worn out as I thrash about through all these channels. It is a bit strange, all the SD channels are up here and you can't hardly see what... This is a good one. Sky actually got David Attenborough to do a documentary about the Galapagos.
Well, I know he didn't cheat on you, so what happened?
E4 used to show Friends non-stop. That has now switched to the Big Bang Theory. There isn't that much original British content on E4 anymore, if you look through the schedules. But one of their biggest hits is The In-Betweeners.
First up, the magnificence of the paint.
More 4 is mostly British, but isn't mostly a channel that gives you extra from Channel 4. They mostly just use it to put all their property and lifestyle shows on most of the time.
And they're also deep.
Well, you can tell that that's the end of Jurassic Park. The amount of channel showing films at the same time in the UK is probably over 20, not more than that.
A bit of essential background on that. Well, trying to, but everybody.
The thin beef.
Forward since I
You
showed
can beat it in court unless we catch him cold. All we want you to do is pick up Hooker for us.
You pick him up yourself.
Because if word gets out that the feds are in on it, gone.
I want to congratulate you. Capital bit of humor.
2000 hours Greenwich Mean Time on May 27th. It will hold.
Well, thanks for watching what show on New Year's Day. Happy New Year.